The Warriors are heading into the final stretch of preseason, and while there's plenty to talk about, one storyline is quietly building momentum, and it's all about Seth Curry. 2 games to go before the regular season tips off, and Seth still hasn't stepped on the court. No preseason minutes. No sign of what he could bring to this squad. And honestly, at this point, the silence is getting a little too loud. It's not just about one player sitting out. It's about a guy who, on an Exhibit 9 deal, is probably not making the regular season roster unless something significant shifts. That could mean a trade. It could mean an injury. Or it could mean he suddenly explodes onto the scene in these last 2 games and forces the Warriors' hand. Now, with Moses Moody out for the rest of the preseason due to a calf issue, a window may have just opened for Seth. But if he's going to take advantage of it, that opportunity needs to start now. The Warriors are set to face the Blazers, followed by the Clippers. That's it. That's all the time left for Seth to make a case. Not just to impress in practice or shoot-arounds, but to actually show up in a game, drop some threes, and remind the league that the Curry name still comes with firepower. Because had he been active in that game against the Lakers, I think we'd be having a different conversation right now. Let's talk about that Lakers game for a second. Steph wasn't playing. Jimmy Butler was out too. The squad on the floor was Draymond leading the charge, with guys like Kuminga and the second unit trying to carry the weight. And they almost did. They mounted a strong comeback in the second half, sparked at the end of the third and rolling into the fourth. But the firepower just wasn't there to close it out. That's where Seth could have made the difference. Imagine dropping him into that moment. A reliable three-point shooter who knows how to space the floor, who knows how to play off guys like Draymond, who can create separation with minimal touches. That comeback might have been more than just a nice try. But it's not just about what could have happened. It's about what still can. The Warriors need clarity on a few roster spots, and Seth Curry has a shot, however slim, to carve out a role, especially with Moses Moody sidelined. And what makes this even more important is that we've seen flashes from other guys stepping up. Take Pods, for example. He came alive in that Lakers game. I'll admit, I wasn't completely sold on him after those comments about being the successor to Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond. Because, let's be real, those are huge shoes to fill, and up to this point, he hadn't really shown that he was ready for that kind of spotlight. But Sunday was a turning point. He played with confidence. He looked like someone who understood the moment and was ready to fight for a spot. That's exactly what we need to see from Seth in these last 2 preseason games. Now, beyond Seth Curry, there's another name floating around that could quietly turn into a valuable pickup. Drew Timm. Yeah, you heard that right. Drew Timm just hit the free agent market. And while he's not a flashy, headline-grabbing prospect, he's one of those players who does the dirty work, plays hard, and adds value without needing the spotlight. He signed a 2-way contract with the Nets last season, spent time grinding with the Long Island squad, and got a call up in March where he averaged double-digit points and solid rebounding numbers. The guy's a worker, and with the way this Warriors front court is built, he might actually fit better than most people realize. Think about it. Al Horford, Quentin Post, and Draymond Green. That's the current core up front. You can slide Kuminga into the power forward spot when you want to go small, sure, but that's not sustainable across an 82-game season. And when you consider the age of that starting lineup, Steph, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, Draymond, and Horford, all north of 30. That's a group built to win now, but it's also a group that desperately needs some younger legs in the rotation. Someone like Timm may not be a floor stretcher or a highlight reel guy, but he can give you minutes, grab boards, fight for second chance points, and play with a high IQ. The kind of effort guy you want in your second unit during a deep playoff run. If I'm in that front office, I'm seriously looking at how to build some depth without sacrificing chemistry or experience. Timm gives you a chance to do just that. A former super senior, Gonzaga's all-time leading scorer, and a known team-first player. That's a profile that fits Golden State's culture to AT. It's just about making the numbers work. And while we're at it, let's be honest, this roster still needs some trimming. Exhibit deals, 2-way contracts, players on the bubble. It's all in flux. Seth Curry could force a move if he shines against Portland or the Clippers. Timm could be picked up to bolster the frontcourt rotation. There are decisions looming, and the clock is ticking. Now let's shift back to the court. This upcoming game against the Trailblazers, This one's personal. Round 2. The Warriors already pulled off a comeback win in the first meeting, and now it's time to double down. This is the kind of game where you want to see players step up and show they're ready. Quinn Post, in particular, is someone I'm watching closely. He had a breakout moment against the Lakers, 4 3-pointers on 9 attempts. That's solid shooting from a big man. But here's the catch. He wasn't a presence in the paint. And that's a problem. Because while the shooting is nice, the Warriors still need someone who can go toe-to-toe with the league's true bigs. Against the Lakers, DeAndre Ayton took full advantage of that soft interior defense, and it showed. The comeback effort fizzled late because there just wasn't enough toughness down low. Against Portland, that test gets even tougher. They're rolling out not one, but 2 7-footers, Hanson Young and Donovan Clingan. Young fouled out in the last game, but that's part of the adjustment coming from overseas ball into the NBA. It's a different pace, different physicality, and he's still finding his footing. Clingan, on the other hand, is a proven winner, and he's already showing signs that he's ready to be a foundational piece in Portland. These are the types of players Quinn Post needs to battle with if he's going to be taken seriously as a starting center in this league. It's not just about knocking down a couple of jumpers. It's about locking in on defense, bodying up in the paint, and controlling the glass. If he can show that against these Blazers bigs, that's going to turn heads, not just within the Warriors organization, but across the league. So now, with just 2 games left in preseason, this is where the Warriors need to lock in. Beat the Blazers. Handle business against the Clippers. Go into opening night against the Lakers with that 4-1 momentum and make a statement in their house. That's how you start season. Not just by winning, but by sending a message that this team, despite the age, despite the roster questions, is still a threat. But none of that matters if the Warriors don't figure out their rotation. And it starts with decisions. Who makes the cut? Who gets the 2-way contracts? Is there a spot for Seth Curry? Does a guy like Drew Timm get a call-up? And with Moses Moody potentially missing not just the rest of preseason, but maybe even the first few games of the regular season, the time to figure it all out is right now. There is no more we'll see. There are only opportunities and whether or not the right players grab them. For Seth Curry, that means finally stepping onto the floor. And if he comes out and drops 6, maybe 7 threes against the Blazers, it's going to be impossible for the Warriors front office to ignore. Because when you're staring down a long season and you're missing one of your key rotation players, you don't pass up a shooter like Seth, especially one who's already got chemistry in the locker room. And yes, there's also the Steph factor. Having his brother on the roster, happy, motivated, producing, it adds another layer of comfort and confidence to the team's most important player. And if they can work the numbers to give Seth a full minimum deal now instead of waiting until November for a prorated contract, they absolutely should. And that's the conversation nobody in the Warriors front office wants to have right now. But they absolutely have to. If Seth Curry comes out firing and delivers a high-efficiency performance, dropping 6 or 7 3-pointers while spacing the floor and creating impact off the bench, then somebody's got to go. That's the uncomfortable part of preseason. These games may not count in the standings, but they count for jobs. And we're not just talking about Exhibit 9 or 2-way guys. We're talking about fringe rotation players who might have felt like their spot was secure. But if you're not producing, you're vulnerable. The problem is, cutting someone isn't just a basketball decision. It's a financial one too. The Warriors are up against the hard cap, and every move has a ripple effect. Converting Seth's Exhibit 9 into a full minimum contract means you either need to trade a player to clear salary or waive someone and eat the money. And in a front office that's trying to balance winning now with long-term sustainability, these are decisions that don't come easy. You're not just thinking about the roster today. You're thinking about what this looks like in April, in the playoffs, and even next season. But this is where urgency kicks in. If Moses Moody is out longer than expected, and with calf injuries, that's always a possibility, the Warriors can't afford to play the waiting game. They need shooters. They need depth, and they need guys who are ready to go now. Seth Curry fits all of those boxes. The pedigree, the experience, the skill set, it's all there. The only thing missing is the opportunity. So if he gets that chance against the Blazers or the Clippers and runs with it, then you have to make space. There's no dancing around it. Whether it's a straight cut, a late trade, or some creative cap maneuvering, you can't afford to leave a weapon like that on the sideline just because the math is hard. And that opens up the question, who's the odd man out? It's not an easy one. You got guys like Jerome Robinson, Guay Santos, maybe even someone like Lester Quinones, players who have had solid flashes but haven't necessarily cemented themselves as irreplaceable. If Seth Curry steps in and provides consistent perimeter shooting, a veteran presence, and instant offense off the bench, then that changes the value equation for a lot of these younger guys. Potential is great, but production wins games. And this Warriors team isn't playing for development. They're playing for rings. Let's also not forget that this season carries a different kind of pressure. With Steph Curry getting older and this core group in the twilight of their collective prime, every year matters. You don't have the luxury of wasting a season figuring things out. That's why these preseason performances are carrying more weight than usual. Every possession is a data point. Every rotation tweak is being scrutinized. Steve Kerr and the coaching staff are watching closely to see which players elevate when the lights come on and which ones fade into the background. And for Seth, the window is narrow but crystal clear. Show up, shoot lights out, and force their hand. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Whispers are swirling around the NBA as the Golden State Warriors find themselves at a potential crossroads. In a statement that has left fans and insiders buzzing, head coach Steve Kerr reportedly hinted that he may step away from the team if the mounting pressure continues. If the pressure keeps building, I might just ask to leave the Warriors, Kerr allegedly told close associates, according to sources familiar with the situation. The remark, though seemingly offhand, has sent shockwaves through the basketball community. Kerr has long been considered the steady hand guiding a dynasty, leading the Warriors to multiple championships over the past decade. Yet the once celebrated reign is facing scrutiny as the team struggles with expectations that are arguably higher than ever. Questions about roster changes, playoff performance, and internal dynamics have amplified the pressure on the veteran coach. Industry insiders suggest that the tension is not solely about wins and losses. Sources close to the organization indicate that internal disagreements and the constant media spotlight have created an atmosphere Kerr may find increasingly difficult to navigate. While the Warriors' front office remains publicly supportive, the rumor of Kerr's possible departure has already sparked speculation about potential successors and the future direction of the franchise. Social media erupted almost immediately after the remarks leaked, with fans debating whether Kerr's statement was a moment of frustration or a genuine signal of things to come. Some argue that the coach has always been candid and resilient, capable of steering the Warriors through stormy waters. Others speculate that the combination of mounting expectations, player dynamics, and media scrutiny could indeed push him to step down. If Kerr does decide to leave, the ripple effects will be profound. The Warriors' identity has long been tied to his leadership, offensive innovation, and the culture he cultivated with players like Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Losing Kerr would not just be a coaching change. It could signal a seismic shift for one of the NBA's most storied modern franchises. For now, the league watches closely. Will this be a turning point for the Warriors, or just another moment of tension in the high-stakes world of professional basketball? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The rumor mill surrounding Steve Kerr and the Warriors is just getting started. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.